Well, give me a minute. Here we go.
There's so many scams. I have to change my username to don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart bracket. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere bracket. That's fucked up, right? And I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard. Yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call us Mexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need a token, you broken, you...
Bang, bang. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the show. Vets and Crypto. It's your boy Vets. We got Mr. Randy Hilarski. How you doing, brother? Good to see you. My peoples. We got a nice special one for you today. We have the one and only, the Fast Abdul with 2 fucks, and Neil for T-shares with us as well. We're going to talk some solid index along with some strategies, some Tetra strategies. Like, if you guys aren't pumped for that, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but get ready. How you guys doing? Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Great to have everybody.
Thanks for inviting us.
Beautiful.
Yes. Yes. And of course, so I imagine Fast Abdul's going to start ramping up the roundabouts, as you already have been making the rounds as you're getting closer and closer to launch and whatnot. And so thank you for stopping by and allowing us to chop it up with you for a bit on this.
Oh, you're muted, buddy.
No worries. Hello, Clarice. No, nothing yet.
Not yet.
No worries. So,
let me show something real quick. My son found today.
Ooh,
This is
How's he
our
doing?
veteran. This is our veterans channel, right? So this is a picture of big old Randy right there in the middle when I was the color guard at Hospital Corps School, Great Lakes. That's me. I was the guy who raised the flag and a couple times a week and took it down at night. Just wanted to show that. My son said, "Daddy, what were you doing here?"
Finally.
Good.
I've been waiting for you to bust out the shoebox with the photos and come on.
Yeah, that's old school right there. Wearing the silver helmet and everything.
Yeah. The brain bucket, Jeez. Oh man. That's really good. How you doing? Microphone check. Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
I'm good. Okay, great. Thanks, guys.
You're looking good, sounding good. All right.
Excellent.
Everything's gonna be okay.
It's all downhill from here.
Right?
We may never look better than the 4 of us do today. This could be like we're kind of on the way down.
Yeah.
Such a
Amen. So we're gonna today we're gonna go in the direction of the solid index. Have a little discussion on that. And since we have the man in the house, Mr. Neil for T-shares with Tetra Labs, we're gonna maybe outline some strategies and plug and play some pieces. And chat, please feel free to chime in. I'm sure there might be a red squirrel somewhere that might have something to say as well in the chat. So feel free to drop a line and say hello. And then feel free to relay this on your YouTubes if you so desire or not. No big deal. And so we'll kick it off here. We want to pull up any of the specific screens. I got the Tetra strategy. Ready to roll with that one?
Yeah, let's pull up that screen there. Perfect. Yeah. So what I have here is just like a template. And I figured since we had access to Neil today, we can maybe look at some of these details. And since Randy's here and he can confirm some of the moving parts as far as the index tokens go, and I'm knowledgeable on fucks and 2-fucks, obviously. Maybe we can come up with a cohesive strategy that, could give people a plan going forward. What do you guys think?
Sounds good to me.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds exciting. I like it.
So what I'd like to do is, like, obviously I'm like a bit of a fucks maxi, but I'd like to definitely acknowledge that there's stuff going on 9-inch, and that could be part of the same strategy. And I think there's actually a huge advantage in the concept of multiple pools and people participating on multiple dexes in different staking pools, because it gives the advantage of not diluting one pool, thus increasing potentially by 50% the profit for everybody in each pool, right? So since we have at least, we have fucks and we have 9-inch, and then there might be other stuff with Spark Swap, etc. in the future, but for the moment, this is a good template that we can work with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually, when we had the initial launch for Nope, one of the reasons why I did not put Liquidity and myself into the farms is because I didn't want to dilute the folks that were doing it, right? The community, they can participate. I didn't want to participate in this. And the same thing went for Solid Hex with his Nope. And then we went over to Fucks, and we launched over there, which made it possible for me to earn a little bit for being a token founder by having another place where we could place Liquidity. And it's working out great. Just makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's huge. So where do you guys think we should start? Should we start with 9-inch, with one particular of the tokens, or just kind of group them together into a batch?
Well, let me talk about 9-inch really quick. What's going on over there?
Sure, let's do that.
Let's get that one out of the way. Guys, we have a little war room for 9-inch, and that Hexy Bastard, K9 Kong, Kino, who is the lead developer, we sit there and we chit chat. Myself and Solid Hex, and now Axis is in there. Crispy Man joined as well today. So we're all, thinking about how we can make the chain better, make it more agreeable. Our friend Bright Light with the Up token, make it more agreeable, bring people over to Pulse Chain and earn rewards through DeFi and yield farming and those kind of things. So 9-inch, I believe, right now is at the forefront in our community as far as DEXs are concerned, going out and trying to attract other communities and giving people yield for either single-sided staking, for staking BBC, the farms, or for just regular earning fees for just being a liquidity provider. So that's what we're doing. Today we launched a bunch of new pools. So check them out. Go over to 9-inch and see what they're doing. I think it's really cool.
Okay, so we have on 9-inch, there's single-sided staking for all 4 of the index tokens?
There's 2. I think they're launching with the first 2, Solid X and Nope, and then they're going to bring in Axis and Fire.
Okay, but they're on the way. They're
on their way this week.
Okay, well, that's pretty sweet. Okay, so that's like a no impermanent loss scenario. Is there any disadvantage versus the LP farming scenario where you're pairing with something else?
Sure. The disadvantage is your APYs generally aren't going to be as high. But if you want to increase your APY rates, you could lock up for 1 year. So you could lock up your Solid X for a year and say bye-bye and earn a lot of yield in BBC. That might be something very attractive for somebody who doesn't want to worry about impermanent loss.
And during that year, can you collect your BBC, or do you have to wait until the year is done?
You got to wait for the year to be done.
Okay. Yeah.
That is one difference. So some of the other exchanges, you're allowed to take the yield out, but not with your BBC.
Interesting. So, and you can set it for different terms, so it doesn't have to be the full year, right?
Yeah, you could do a month, 90 days, whatever you choose. Now the pools are a little bit different. You can stake your tokens or your BBC tokens, and just they're set for 10, 30, 60, 90 days. And at the end, or anywhere you want, you can just pull your BBC and you get them back. So that's pretty cool too.
Okay, cool. Nice. So there's the potential to do like with the single-sided thing, with just the single-sided staking, a person could do a staking ladder if they want it, right? Mm-hmm. Which is a well-known concept in in the hex universe here, that you could have like them set for between a week and a year. Like you could have one ending every week if you wanted.
Yeah, if you don't trust yourself, if you're not able to hold,
Yeah.
this is the best way to do it. The best way to set up a staking ladder.
Okay. So our choices are staking ladder or
Pools.
or participating in just the pools, like the LP pools. Is that what you mean? Like
No, these are just staking of BBC. Now there's also the farming, which is full on LP providing, and that's when you have to have 50% on either side that match.
50 on either side, right? And is the farming the big payer? Is that where the money's at mostly?
What's that?
Is the farming the one that pays the best?
Oh yeah, typically it does, but that also depends on how many people are participating. So if a ton of people come in, then those rates can drop significantly, and then maybe the single-sided staking will get better. That's in this game, you got to constantly go wherever your APY or APR is the best, and that's why I can't wait for you guys to get going. Get the 2 fucks.
Well, I want to see what you think, Neil, but this is the idea I have just with the 9-inch part here, is that we have like, since fees on Pulse Chain are so cheap, right? It doesn't hurt you as much to diversify your portfolio. Like on Ethereum, you don't want to have 50 things going on because it costs so much money to move them around. And then, of course, we're talking about Tetra. So if we had a scenario where maybe Tetra could do some of the work for us, we didn't have to, we'd have to set it up, obviously, but maybe we wouldn't have to press all the buttons all the time. So I would ask, why would I not participate in all these things on some level, right?
Well, that's exactly right. You want to be able to be exposed to these tokens for 2 things: yield, but also future price appreciation, right? And so why would you want to, put all your eggs in one basket? So why don't you just have like a nice diverse portfolio? Even just if you want to get all the farm pairs and all the different options, and plus the pools to earn some BBC as well. So that now you're exposed across an array of things. But like Randy said, we don't want if everybody's over there, then everybody gets diluted. So then obviously Fox and 2 Fox will have other things. Plus you got V3 liquidity options with 9mm as well. So now you have 3 places, and PulseX is 4, right? 4 dexes you could put your stuff on and spread your assets across all the different potential LP positions that are available. And then that allows for more arbitrage opportunities for automations through Tetra's automation, as well as the bots and everything else that are currently within the system to help the prices and help people gain opportunities. Because with Omnis, you have the compound limit orders about to be released. And with that tool, it's like a automated swing trade. So people could set up these swing trades within all these different assets and accumulate whichever one they want the most of, or all of them as they can come up with different strategies and different means to leverage their assets to, build staking ladders and stuff like that for the future.
Okay, so how about something like this, where we have on the top, we have staking ladders, and then using also the 9-inch exchange, we're participating in the LP pairs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So then in both these cases, and we can get more into detail on staking ladders. We could get Crispy in here. He could go on for a week probably, but the concept of, like, in this case, the max term is 52 weeks and the minimum term is it 1 day?
I think it's 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and with, if you had Tetra, like, maybe 3 days is a little ridiculous, but with Tetra, like, you could certainly have compounding like a compounding ladder where it reinvested every time it came through, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that sort of in the cards for Stratus, Neil?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, not just with the yield from the ladders themselves, but you can take yield from the LP and do it. So you could pull some yield from LP, put in your staking ladder, and then when it gets its term every 7 days or every month or whatever your time frame is, depending on your APRs, then you can have Tetra have a decision tree just saying, well, if the ladder is paying a better APR than say the LPs at right now, I'll put more auto compounding there. And when the reverse is true, the next time the cycle is over, it goes in the LPs. And so you can have Tetra kind of go back and forth and make the decision for you based upon APRs at the time of ending of your time scale that you choose within the strategy.
Okay, so it could rebalance between like whenever it cashed in on one of the 52-week staking ladders, it could rebalance them into one of the LP positions or back into the staking ladder, depending on what was paying more on that day, so to speak.
Correct. Or
Okay.
go to 2 fucks with it as well.
Sure, of course.
It just depends on where in all the pools you have access, not just these two. So you can do the same thing wherever it is. And even Pulse X, who knows? We don't know the futures. Who knows what opportunities will be available, even on other things. Maybe SparkSwap has something, maybe there's a vault on Dex Finance. We don't know what the future holds. So these are just options we need to keep ourselves open to, because like Randy said, if you can be a big fish in a small pond, you get the most APR for your money.
Yep.
Okay.
And by the way, SparkSwap is going to have no liquidity soon. They've been working on it.
Nice.
And they're going to start adding more tokens. Hopefully they'll do all the Solid X tokens. That'd be great. I did want to correct myself from earlier. It's 3 days without any fees. If you go less than 3 days, there is a fee.
Okay.
You unstake early.
Yeah. Right. Well, that's for the single-sided staking? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Well, 3 days, that's not terrible. A lot of places charge you with 4% just to go in the pool, period, and stuff like that. Yeah. So to have it be an option where you have to wait 72 hours is not really that crazy.
Exactly.
Considering that they're paying you to, with no impermanent loss, that's great. So in all these cases, is it BBC token that's being paid out?
Yep. BBC, everything on 9inch will be BBC.
Okay, fair enough.
Except for the pools where you stake BBC, you actually earn Nope, Solid X, Fire, or VETS.
I see. Okay. Well, I guess that's because the next question is, what do we do with the BBC that we get, right? Mm-hmm. So then I would put in, yet again, we'll give a 9-inch a 9-inch bracket here. They seem to have.
The only difference with these is they're not forever, right? They're set for an amount of time. This version is 90 days. So we'll have 90 days where you can earn Nope. I send them a bunch of Nope and you earn it. Once that is dry after 90 days, then a new cycle begins. And I can continue. I could add more Nope to it, or some other project can come in from the casting couch and participate.
So is that just Nope token that is available right now, or will it be all the index tokens? Do we have an idea there?
We'll have them all. Right now it's just Nope. I was just the first one to send over my token.
Oh, fair enough. So as far as the strategy goes, if we say that, and that's single-sided staking of BBC, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what if we make that, because we're going to get all this BBC as yield, and then rather than liquidate it and try to turn it into something else, we could just single-side stake it and then collect the same tokens and then recycle them back into the same strategy, right? And just compound on top of compound on top of compound. Does that work, Neil?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, especially on 90-day cycles, that gives you, say, 3 months or 3 ladder points you could do, and then you have 3 times you can do in 90 days. And then depending on what's the next token, whether it's another of Randy's tokens or somebody else, you can just keep going through. And then if you need to shave off profit, you can at any given time, any of the tokens, because that's what we're here for. It's not just to run things in circles forever, obviously. But there are ways to take profit responsibly, obviously.
And let's be frank, the Tetra is going to make things a lot easier for us. So they're having to run around and switch wallets, and it's just going to make things easier. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so we got single-sided staking for index tokens, and we'll get to the index concept later. But for the viewers who don't know, there's sort of the concept of an index that involves all 4 of these tokens: Nope, Solid X, Axis, and Fire, all inside one LP pair on the FUX exchange. So we'll get into that a little bit later, but that's what that's can be the future of these BBC tokens. So we'll just do that up. So from here,
and BBC's had quite a day. It's up 54% today.
That's good.
That is a very good day.
Yeah, along with good old Chris Man's Hex Fire, right?
Oh,
It's on fire.
Oh, yeah.
Literally. Woo! Good job.
Yeah, that one's a shocker. I don't it's crazy to watch it go up that quickly, that fast. It makes me wonder, how much of it is just the fact that it's a much smaller number than like the Axis thing that is like close to the price of Bitcoin, basically,
Right.
Or even Solid X at like $100 and some bucks, right? It's curious, but it's definitely catching up, isn't it?
Sure is.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I've had to move my liquidity around to keep up with it.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Thanks for bearing with me, guys. I think I got. So here's our first loop. Right. So we're going from all 4 index tokens that can be single-sided staked in a 52-week staking ladder with no penalty whatsoever, and that can be compounded. And then there's the 9-inch LP pairs, which I won't list them all out because they're numerous, but mostly paired with 9-inch, right, and BBC, I believe. Right,
BBC,
along with
PLS and PLS.
And PLS. Okay, well, that's a very safe choice. That's great. And then from there, they all pay in the BBC token, right? Which can be single-sided staked by itself to pay out in potentially right now the NOPE token we know, but potentially in the future Solid X, Axis, and Fire as well, right? Which you can then compound into the same, the same strategy that we've laid out here. And Tetra can do that.
Don't forget your 9-inch fees as well. You're earning 9-inch. You get fees like it's V1, V2 of Pulse X and 1. It's the way it was supposed to be, right? And so you're earning fees plus you're earning the reward token.
Nice. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so those fees go into the top staking ladder with the tokens. You see, you take the part of your fees split. Your BBC goes into the single side, and your other tokens go into the 9-inch staking ladder. Therefore, you split. That's what Tetra can really manage it for you a whole lot easier.
So I got a question. Basically, how is Tetra loosely going to work as far as the strategies? Are those like independent people have been developing their own strategies? How are people going to pay a royalty or a one-time fee to use or borrow that strategy? Can you speak a little on that?
So the mechanism that allows you to do strategies is called Stratus. It's a drag and drop user interface. Once it's made available to the public, people can just make their own strategy, and they can either keep it private or publish it. It's up to them. It doesn't matter to us. And strategies are made public. A small portion of all the fees generated go to the strategy author. Okay. It's very tiny. It's not very significant, but there's a little bit of a kickback there. And then the strategies can be deployed through the front end interface of Tetra, which is Atlas, or we can come up with deals and like Tetra Labs will build things that we can put these strategies on a front end, like for NOPE and Solid X, that the users can go to the front end, interact with strategies, and it would do all this stuff for you, utilizing tokens in your wallet. So there's 2 ways this is going to be done, but the consumer, there's a cost, obviously, to use a strategy. It's prepaid before the strategy is deployed. It gives you how much it's going to cost per cycle, and it can be auto compounded. So once you do it once, it keeps the fees in there to pay for the strategy to be deployed. So once you make your first initial deposit, everything else, the yield you earn pays for the next strategy fees and the gas, and just kind of self-perpetuates.
That's beautiful. I think, it's it's a great way for people to save them from themselves. And let alone just I think it's like becoming we were saying like hashtag never selling, but like hashtag go live your life now, and you don't have to stand behind the computer and click buttons all day, go live your life.
And be tempted to sell. That's what happens when you start clicking around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so at first, myself and Fast and Red Squirrel and others will be making the initial strategies for public consumptions, because we're going to test them privately, to make sure there's no bugs and stuff, things like that within all the little potential problems. And then once we kind of got all that worked out, then it'll be released to the public for public consumption. People could use the strategies and make what they want. But there is, like anything else, it's a learning curve, learning process. If you don't understand how a protocol works, you're not really going to be able to make a strategy, because you really got to understand the functionality, which smart contract functions to call, and then the decision tree process of what to do, when, how, and if, and all the things that, you have to program it. It's still that you have some logic path to make these things function. And so there's going to be, I'll be doing videos, tutorials, and all this, in the future. So it's coming. But there's a lot of things that we'll be able to do. Liquidity management is one of them, because we'll be able to move your liquidity around as needed through our interface, manually at first, anonymous, and then automatically through Stratus.
With things like this, Neil, where we're moving around like LP tokens and collecting yield automatically and then redistributing it to specific pools, like that's sort of what's in the cards, right? Like this is exactly the type of design.
Exactly.
Especially things like the staking ladder, where it's like, okay, on this day, this is going to happen. Please collect this. And once it's set up, it won't be a lot of work for the user. So that's the sort of thing where, like Neil and I might have some of these strategies that you can just click on. That will be the easy button. Right. And other people are going to design a strategy. That's not the easy button. But, if there's enough easy buttons to choose from, you can pick the one that's going to suit your needs and suit your bags, more importantly. Right. So there's definitely some game theory here.
Yeah, exactly. There's also options to take 2 to 3 different easy buttons and link them together. You may have a 2 fuck strat. You may have a straight up nope strat that's, just heavily a nope. And then one that's only on 9-inch stuff, just run BBC. You can link them all together and then exit out, as you choose. So there'll be tons of, what you can think of, there's really unlimited possibilities, because however many smart contracts are on a blockchain, you multiply all those times themselves and then add infinitum. And that's really how much options there are with the Tetra strategies and automation. It's just that complex and that broad. So we could never possibly think of every possible scenario.
Neil, I got a question, because I keep hearing people, speaking like, oh, yeah, better be careful with Tetra Labs, using Tetra, because the way it's built, it's kind of complex, and, be careful with the smart contracts, all that kind of stuff. What do you have to say to that? Because I'm not worried about it, but there seems to be a couple people out there that are worried. Yeah, they're not techies, all right? I'm not a techie either, so I really can't speak to it. What do you have to say to that?
Well, Tetra, all it does is automate any smart contract function that exists on the blockchain. That's it. We don't add to it, change it, manipulate it. It just takes a function and deploys it at given variables by you, the user. And it's all controlled through a smart wallet, which you own the keys to and have the seed phrase and all. So all Tetra is just a software service. That's all it does. And we don't own anything. We just give you the tools. You use your tools at your leisure. And that's it. We can't make it do anything or not do anything more than a blockchain can do. So that's all it really does. So it's really just like a toolbox. Here's a toolbox. Use the tools to your liking on the blockchain.
So you say they're like drag and drop smart contracts that have already been verified, validated, looked at. Okay.
Yeah, so like the hex contracts will be available. The concept of you just I'm gonna have some hex, I'm gonna stake it, set my time. When it unstakes, I'll take those and get my all my heads drawn. I'm maybe get some of my Costa staking and all the things that we've talked about before. And I've done videos on different concepts. You're not doing anything any more than you can do manually. So if you can do it manually, you can do it automatically. That's that simple. We can do no more than what's available. So we can't make it do anything else than the blockchain will allow. As far as technology is concerned. So it's only as safe as the smart contracts themselves. So just like the hex smart contract, it's a smart contract. And all smart contracts have smart contract risk, period. They are what they are. So we all take a risk when we click on PulseX, hoping that smart contract, and then it runs it, doesn't eat our coins. It's the same risk we're all taking. So, but most of the stuff will be vetted because we've all used it already. Anything that new that comes up, we'll have a token sniffer thing that will make sure there's no admin keys or things that could be, or if there are admin keys and you interact with it, we'll have a red flag on it. Say, look, this one has admin keys. If you want to interact with it, beware, it's on you. Because we can't stop people from interacting with, because once it's open to the blockchain, it's open to blockchain, and we're not gatekeeping things like that. Now we can only warn people, but if somebody wants to interact with Honeypot, that's on them. We can't stop them.
Yeah. This is crypto. Free market.
It is. Be responsible, do your own research.
All right.
The that sniffer though, it's looking for things specifically like honeypots though, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to identify that not everything with admin keys is a honeypot.
No, I'm just whatever. Things with admin keys are necessary because as we saw what happened with liquid loans, if they had an admin key, they could have probably fixed the problem when they launched, but they didn't. So immutability is a double-edged sword.
Neil and I both know that's what Voodoo Balls is all about, finding out the scams.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be bringing
Exactly.
the scams out and exposing them using Tetra Labs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess since you brought it up, Randy, anything to chime in on some Voodoo Balls?
Well, our boy has his coins. I sent him all of his Solid X and his PLS today. So Nagabo is armed and ready to go for May 1st. So that's going to be the launch date. We don't have the exact time when it's going to launch, but Voodoo Balls is on the way. I have 1% of the supply, and I'll be using that for liquidity providing. So I partnered up with him, and I gave him a good deal of money to be his partner for this. So I like Naga. I think he's a great asset to the community. And although he is a little bit rough around the edges, he definitely knows how to do marketing right. The guy's loud and he gets it.
Yeah.
And obviously we're working with Tetra Labs. They're part of the whole Naga Ball or Voodoo Ball launch as well.
And we'll be providing liquidity as well. We have a deal with Naga also to provide liquidity with the token. So we're just trying to help him, help the community, help everything grow. I did a video on liquidity providing for his community, just explain to them a better way to launch and how to think about things. So it just if we can make everything better for everybody, we're all going to win. I think that's the whole point.
Yeah. So there you guys got the inside scoop of Voodoo Balls.
Hooty hoo.
We'll have
Say
a
that
Voodoo
10
Ball
times.
strategy one day.
It's gonna be a lot to play with right there. That's gonna be a good one.
Man, seems to be a theme on the Pulse chain. Here we have the 9-inch DEX interacting with Fox, which has 2 Fox built on top of it, and soon there'll be Voodoo Balls to add to this menagerie of terror. Yeah,
A bunch of 12-year-olds.
Right. Yep.
oh well, it is what it is.
That's right.
Oh, God. Coach is commenting in one stream. Hey, I'm ready, man.
So the solid index, is that what we're calling the pair of the 4 tokens, or is there a set name, Randy? That stuck in my head for some reason.
It's gonna be the Solid Index.
Okay, very good, cool. And I think it's important to note with the Fox Exchange, it's a fork of Balancer V2, right? Which means Balancer's, like, in my opinion, the most advanced liquidity system there is. It's a little bit complicated for some people, but you can pair up to 8 tokens together. And with the way they have Fox set up, when you make your pool, you can name your pool. So this pool can be called the Solid Index. And then you actually get to name your liquidity token, right? So it won't just be a random number like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 18 zeros. It can be have an actual token type name, because it is a token, right? So, which is one of the things I wanted to touch on here and kind of see what you guys thought about that, because there's going to be so many interesting strategies surrounding this concept of the Solid Index is a token that contains all 4 of those tokens, and it's fungible. It can be bought and sold if there's liquidity pairs attached to it, right? As well as the other features we'll go through with the staking for yield and so on and so forth. But there is an actual token there that is basically an index, like an index fund of these 4 tokens. So I think that's there's gonna be some cool game theory with that for sure.
Absolutely. We're sounding more and more like the stock market every day.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So
That's right.
in that Solid Index, Randy, and stop me if if I go too far into your alpha and you don't have something to share. But do we know what the makeup is going to be, percentage wise, of those 4 tokens?
Yeah, it's probably going to be. It's either going to be heavy Solid X, maybe 40, then 20, 20, 20, or it's going to be just equal 25, 25, 25, 25. But it would make sense that Solid X is the primary driver of this index. And this is just the first one, because we've already talked about doing one with 2 Fox as well. So that'll be a little bit different. We'll figure out how to work it. And we've also thought about, what if we had some PLS in the index too? But we're weighing that to see if it would make sense.
I was going to ask about something like that. And the reason it might make sense to add the 5th token being PLS in particular is just to make it a more functional pool for liquidity reasons, right? More about it being functional on the FUX exchange specifically, because there's substantial pools all over of these tokens paired against each other, right? But to have it paired with PLS and to have the other tokens maybe separately paired with PLS also on the FUX exchange would just make it so that users would suffer less slippage if they want to do things like add to the pool with only 2 of the 4 tokens, because FUX will, being a fork balancer, it'll allow you to do that, and it will balance the pool according to what you need, right? But it's one of the things that would make a difference for slippage for people. If there is very little liquidity in one of the 4 tokens, and there is no pulse attached in one of those things, then they could suffer quite a bit of slippage there, right? But if with a little bit of pulse and a pair for each of them on the FUX exchange, you could get to very low slippage potentially. And that would make it so people can participate in the index token without having to necessarily even bring all 4 of those tokens with them, right? So that's the concept.
Yeah. I can see like the index being paired with, say, voodoo balls also, right? Because now it's paired behind the scenes. It's also paired now with a pair and maybe any other tokens that want to join, say, a secondary index, right? Sure. Tier 1, tier 2 concepts, right? So you can have that. You can have a future where you can see that happening. So if Randy gets approached again by somebody else or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is good," or whatever. You could have a 2-tier system that work together and share liquidity on other DEXs, but yet are linked here. So you have index 1, index 2. Maybe there's some plays there, maybe 2 plays. There's a lot of options in the future as this could play out.
Yeah, I love the deep liquidity on FUX, and that seems to be one of the biggest benefits, because when you pool everything together and you include pulse in there, you're not digging just into the pulse liquidity within your pair. You're digging into the pulse liquidity on the whole of FUX, right? That's how I understand it. It's not just your pulse; it's everybody's pulse on that platform.
Every single pool that has pulse in it, which would be many, would be accessed by that. Then, of course, like the DEX aggregators, like Omnis, for example, they're going to pull from when you're making a buy of, let's say, Fire. It's going to pull from that solid index pool, probably as one of the primaries, but it's also going to pull from multiple pools on 9-inch, multiple pools on PulseX. If there's something on 9mm, it's going to look at that. Wherever the best deal is, it's going to pull it. And as far as the FUX exchange goes, like if you have Pulse in your pool, right, or something else like USDC, something that's highly traded. Now, I don't think we should put any stable coins in this pool because we don't want that in permanent loss. But like Pulse, for example, you might get action in that pool just from people buying and selling Pulse to something else. They might not even be touching Solid X, but it's still going to move through your pool, and it's still going to pay to the holders of the pool if there was some Pulse in that pool. So not a terrible concept there, that's for sure.
And with automation services, you're always driving volume through these pools constantly.
Oh yeah,
these type of strategies and stuff like that. So as people go and going from the ladders to the LP and back and forth, and they're maybe make a few swaps, Tetra will be able to do that. And so if you're going through the pools to balance out, to move your liquidity around, or say you want some more NOPE over here or not, depends on your strategy, or you want more Fire, do that, on a constant basis. So I think you'll see a high volume on chain overall once you add the automation tools in the mix. I think people are going to be shocked to see the TVL go up on Pulse chain once these things are available to the public. I think it's going to change the dynamic of how the chain operates.
For sure. So just for discussion purposes, I threw up some Pulse up there just because, I feel like that's probably the way it's going to go. I know you guys are going to talk it out with the Galaxy brains, but I think that's probably what the math is going to tell you, is that is the right answer for
the beginning. One. That was always my play, because I saw how well NOPE PLS did the pool, and it just makes sense. Those fees that I earn over there, it's like, and NOPE doesn't have a lot of volume, but there's something's generating the fees, and I'm guessing it's the PLS.
Yeah. This is going to be a lot of fees between those tokens. Like they're gonna be ripping through there. Though the truth is, with the way the FUX exchange works, like almost certainly this is going to be a gauged or incentivized pool, which means that the vast majority of the profit to be taken from this LP token will be paid out in the FUX token as bonus APR, right? And that's, it's probably going to like 10-1 or better potentially if done correctly. And I know these guys are going to do it right. They understand. So that's that's going to be part of the game for sure.
And the only reason why we haven't launched yet is because we're waiting for you guys.
I know. No pressure, eh? Yeah, get on it, Yellow Cake. I see in the chat there. What are you wasting time for? Go for a shot.
Tighten up, man.
No, Yellow Cake's on it, guys. He is like 18 hours a day talking to our Ukrainian devs at strange hours of night if you live in North America about, like all the little bugs. And then it's bug fixes right now, right? Like, and it's not the back end stuff. It's not the code. It's the front end. It's how it displays. It's how the mobile thing works.
Yep.
And just because, something looks glitchy on the screen, it doesn't mean that anything bad happened at the back end. All the money's there. We're talking to the audit guys. We very firmly believe this is very, very safe. This has been audited multiple times already. The audit's actually redundant, but that front end stuff is finicky, and things like displaying the correct APR, which, I know we've seen on multiple protocols, like stuff like that matters. Like, I don't want to tell people they're making 1,000% if they're not making 1,000%. APRs won't be guaranteed because that changes by the second. But, we have a novel system of displaying the current APR and a potential future APR, and we try to give really accurate data. That's one of our, things we're focusing on that Yellow Cake's trying to get right. So we should have that pretty soon. I think, we have some live testing going on with the community, and soon we'll have the actual protocol. Oh, yeah. Great. If we have the like button, the Yellow Cake's going to launch. Great.
All right.
If only it was that easy. So back to the concept, though, of, the pool on Fux, right, which is going to be 4 or potentially 5 tokens if Pulse was included in it. So that becomes a token by itself, and then that token can be staked on the Fux exchange to get bonus APR, or via the 2Fux front end, you can stake the same token to get quite likely quite a bit more APR. And how that works is on Fux, they have a built, just like on Balancer, there's a built-in system where basically if you have a whole bunch of Fux tokens locked, like meaning you can't sell them, for 1 year, you can get up to 2.5 times as much yield as if you had none, right? So most people won't have enough for any sort of substantial investment, or they don't want to have this locked for a year to be able to get that bonus APR. So one of the main functions of 2Fux is we'll maintain a very large pool of of what we call prime 2Fux, which is the Fux that's been locked permanently in our ecosystem. It can never be sold. It never gets turned back into Fux, but it operates in the same way, directly interacting with the Fux exchange. So it'll be like our giant pool is your giant pool in your wallet, right? So you can stake your LP tokens like you were the biggest Fux whale. And if we're not the biggest Fux whale on day one, by nature of what the protocol does, it builds up steam like it snowballs. In like a month, 2 months, 3 months, we'll be the biggest Fux whale. So whenever you feel like you want to be the biggest Fux whale and come and get that bonus up to 2.5 times extra yield, just stake your LP token that is the same one that comes from the Fux exchange. You can just unstake it there and then press restake through the 2Fux front end. That's it. You don't have to unravel your LP. There'll even be options to make the LP token via the 2Fux front end. It interacts everything's interacting with the Fux exchange. And in the end, it all lives on the Fux exchange. You're just doing it via a different front end. Kind of like how the Magic Carpet Ride guys have a different front end for liquid loans, except for this one provides like a very substantial boost. Like it is literally potentially 2.5 times more yield.
That is a lot. It is a freaking lot of money.
And sometimes that means moving from 25% to 125%. Be like, okay, that's good. But sometimes there's going to be days and there's going to be certain pools that are going to break 1,000%. Now, will it break 1,000% like all day long every day? Like, no, probably not. These things are going to go up and down. There's variance. There's some gaming of the system that is part of our entire plan, obviously. But these things do exist, and if you keep an eye on it, there's going to be a lot of money to be made in yield farming. And these are not fly-by-night yield farms. Neither the 9-inch options that we're looking at here, or what 2Fux is going to offer via the Fux exchange. These are like pretty solid, very, very safe, well doxed, understood platforms. So I think it's a good choice for people. So anyway, this LP token, you're going to stake it via the 2FUX front end, which is going to give you a bonus token. So instead of just the FUX token, which is this little logo here, you're also going to get the 2FUX token, right? So right there, you've got something extra just for using the front end on top of the probably much larger amount of FUX than you would have achieved by yourself. Then there's an option for you to stake the 2FUX token, which is going to give you more tokens as well. It's going to give you what's called our prime 2FUX token, and that's the equivalent of the prime FUX on the FUX exchange. So basically, when we pay people out in that, it means that's where the protocol is building more power. Every time somebody accepts payment in the prime 2FUX token, that means that there's additional money coming in. Here, what's Yellow Cake say here? Currently, 83.3% APR on staked prime 2FUX in our DevNet. And so that's basically the same as prime FUX, except for like just more, right? So the prime 2FUX token is our primary staking token of our ecosystem. And when you stake that, you end up getting more of the 2FUX token, right? As well as more prime 2FUX token again, right? So it can create an even bigger loop, which is cool.
I think right now on FUX, currently one of my wallets has about $15,000 worth of FUX token, and it's all staked with prime FUX and all that. And that earns about $300 a week.
Yep.
And that's without pointing any of my upvotes towards that pool. That's just the generic pool that they have. That's the $300 a week for a $15,000 investment. Come on, that's amazing.
Yep.
You can't do it in the real world, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is the big difference too. Like with Prime FUX, which is just the 80% FUX, 20% Pulse LP pair on the FUX exchange. Basically, that's what the token is. It's a LP token. That token you have to lock to get the big fees, and you have to lock to get the big APR, right? But on 2FUX, that we give you a liquid wrapping token, kind of like Rocket Pool. So that's what the Prime 2FUX token is it's wrapped Prime FUX that you can sell if you want to, or you can stake it. But the Prime FUX itself is always locked in the 2FUX ecosystem, right? So it just gives you more options. It'll by default should pay better than just Prime FUX, and by default you have more choices because it's not locked for a year ever. It's just like it's either you can stake it or unstake it, but there's no time lock attached to that whatsoever. So that's a pretty big advantage for people. So getting these extra tokens is just part of the game, because the next part of the game comes down to votes, and that's what the 2FUX token does. So that's the other huge part of how the FUX exchange works. Is people, it's almost like a DAO, except for it's the right kind of DAO. It's not a boring DAO where you're voting on changing the color of the logo. You're only voting on one thing, and that's money. Which pool do you want to pay the most, right? And the pool that gets the most votes gets the most FUX tokens directed towards it, right? So that's the whole game, is can I get the most votes towards my pool, which means that not just you, everyone who participates in that pool receives the extra yield from the votes going towards that pool. So when we look at how 2FUX comes into play there, that giant pile of Prime FUX that I talked about that's locked in our ecosystem in our Prime 2FUX token, that is also providing us huge amounts of voting power. And that voting power is shared with the people who hold the Prime 2FUX, the 2FUX token. And proportionate to the amount of 2FUX token that a person or entity holds is the proportion of votes that they will receive in the ecosystem to control that huge amount of votes on the FUX exchange, right? And so that's going to direct very quickly a large portion of the votes, and that will decide which pools get paid the most. So when I look at things, and this is completely unrelated because, of course, the sacrifice is for points, but I noticed that the top, publicly doxed wallet sacrificing for 2FUX is the Solid X Whale. So I thought that was interesting that he would use that wallet to be a 2FUX sacrificer. I feel like he has an interest in the protocol, and that if he was participating with the initial 2FUX tokens, that he would probably direct some votes towards something like this Solid Index pool. It seems very likely to me.
He likes to splash.
Yeah.
He likes to say, look, I'm the number one sacrificer for 9-inch, splash. I'm the number one sacrificer for 2FUX, splash.
There's quite a splash. Yeah. It's a good thing to wake up to.
So you got a UI teaser for us? You got a little something?
Oh, Yellow Cake will. I'll have him pull that up one day because he's got everything running now basically, and it's fast, guys. You know how fuck sometimes like it spins and spins and spins. Like
is they using the Commodore 64 over there? Like what the hell?
There's a lot of info there because there's hundreds of pools, right?
I know Australia is a long way away, but Jesus, man.
It is, yeah. But we only display the gauge pools, the ones that, the only ones I care about anyway are the ones that are paying yield, right? So we have exactly right now, there are 50 gauge pools. And so it just circles through those quickly. You can type in a token name. By the time you get to the second letter, it's already displayed the only pools that have that token. It's very, very quickly. Very, very fast. So it'll be a great relief to a lot of people, I think, to have that be their regular daily interface versus what they're doing now, perhaps.
So, Randy, is the overall idea with the solid index for people to get that established and then, like, let's say, come the bear market, how would one utilize the solid index to rotate into the bear market and earn?
You might not want to. At the top of the market, anybody who has smaller bags, I'm saying sell. Go into stables. I'm going to tell you to do that with everything, and then we'll point the voting power at stables. Look, thinking solid X and nope and all this is not going to be resistant to a 90% drop in a bear market is foolhardy for anybody to think that's not going to happen. That happens to every asset. Look what happened to our favorite asset, Hex. Hex got slaughtered in the bear market, right. And that's what people still staked out. So, yeah, there's still going to be the chance that there's a 85, 90% dip even for solid X. So, what will I be doing? I will be waiting for you guys to sell your tokens, and I'll be sitting there catching them so we can start this all over again next bull run.
That's right. That's right. But there's also you could exit out, DC out over time through Tetra's automation, and as you see the market sentiment change, start slowly accumulating, not all at once, but just so you can just take your profits and then sitting in stables like Randy's saying. That's where you'll make a lot of volume, because if you look even on a curve and right now, even during the bottom of the bear, it was still doing a lot of volume because that's where the money was, because people were they were risk off. So
yeah, I got a great story for this one. So one of my friends, a Jewish gentleman here in Panama, he set up a fund over in Switzerland, and he was taking money from his Jewish friends here in the community because there's a lot of Jewish families here in Panama, and he was promising them 6%. Remember, a couple of years ago, 6% was huge, right? Right now, not so much, but 2 years ago, it was a lot of money. And he was using Curve to make 15, 20% APY, and he promised them 6. He kept the difference. So they were giving him millions of dollars, and now he's got a penthouse on the 70th floor of this brand new building. And I'm the one that introduced the kid to Bitcoin.
Where's your piece? Yeah.
Where's my apartment? You can buy mine. You can buy my penthouse for me.
Oh my God.
So yeah, he did that exactly. He just used stable coins, and he doesn't even. He told me that he hasn't touched anything except for a stable coin in over 3 years, because there's so much money to be made with just stables if you have a large bag.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the play too, right? Like with the Fox Exchange, is a fork of Balancer V2. Balancer came out after Curve. Curve was like the initial more than 2 token LP, platform, right? And then Balancer's kind of like the newer version of the same. So basically, we'll have the same options on the Fox Exchange to pair together. And there's already some great options where some days you're making 40, 50% on just stable coins. I think that's going to get a little slimmer in potentially in the bear market, because more people are going to migrate to that. But more of this voting power that 2Fox is going to control likely is going to get directed to those pools as well, right? So I'm hoping for like 30% through the bear market in stables.
Beautiful.
Like
awesome.
Comfortable. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, good concept. So I've added some highlights here. So you're gonna participate in the solid index. You're gonna stake your LP token via the 2Fox front end, and then you can convert. You're gonna get FUX and then some 2 FUCs as yield. You convert your FUCs into prime 2 FUCs, which you can stake again. It's another staking token, and that gets a lot of yield. Like Yellowcake said, 83% in our simulations right now, and that which gives you more prime FUCs as well as 2 FUCs. There's an auto compounder built into that, which is cool. It's actually, we forked it from Ethereum from Aura Finance, and it works great. There's a bunch of different options too. You could potentially take yield in some different tokens if you want to get FUCs instead of prime 2 FUCs. But with the compounder, I've seen it pay 30% more in some scenarios. So, I think most people would just let the math decide on that, chances are. And then the final thing that I think is the big part of the picture that not everybody needs to understand, but everybody in this room is going to understand or already does. And that anybody who's a serious player in the ecosystem needs to know about the voting system that FUCs has and that 2 FUCs has. So I said before, we're staking actually we call it locking. We lock the 2 FUCs token, which gives you access to the votes. And then those votes go toward whichever pool you want potentially, but we're adding another piece to the puzzle. So about a month after 2 FUCs comes out, so we'll have 1 month where it's just 2 FUCs and you're going to direct your own voting and everything's fine. But we're providing a delegation option, meaning you can delegate your voting power to somebody else. You could delegate it to the protocol if you don't know what to do, and the protocol is going to vote for what's best for the protocol, probably things like the 2 FUCs pools and stuff like that. But the big thing is going to be our Briberry protocol. So we're launching Briberry.io. So BRIBERRY.io. And basically it's a platform where you'll be able to take a bribe for your vote on the FUCs exchange. Oh, you kicked me out. Oh, okay. There, good. Oh, there's 2 FUCs. Perfect. So you'll be able to take a bribe for your vote on the FUCs exchange. And it's a choice. Like you'll be able to see people will put up a bid, and the people in question will probably be whales and founders who will put up a bid for your vote, and you can see where the vote is going. So you don't have to take the highest bid. You can go down the list and be like, okay, I see the solid index is the second highest bribe, but I'll take it anyway because that I have tokens in that pool and that's going to benefit me otherwise, right? And so for people to look at it as an option to be able to take a bribe for the place where they would have voted anyway, that's great. But as far as onboarding new people who don't know where to vote, if people see like, oh, there's this huge bribe for voting for the solid index and I'm not in the solid index, maybe I should take a closer look. And maybe they'll take that bribe and maybe they'll turn around and be like, well, there's a lot of votes going there. I can tell. I think I'll invest in that pool. So it's going to be something that might be a little slow to start, but very quickly it'll just become another commodity on the Pulse chain. And just like it is on Ethereum. And we're actually forking, something from Ethereum where people have been doing this in the past. And more or less, they're pulling in between 3 and 10% of their bags a month in bribe money, and sometimes higher at like peak times or when there's something big going on. So it's a pretty serious consideration for people to take these bribes. So it's I know bribes sound kind of seedy, but these are like smart contract governed bribes where you get to decide where your vote goes and how much you're getting paid beforehand, and you don't have to take them. You could vote wherever you want, right? But that option's going to be there. It's going to be there fairly quickly, and I think it's going to be of great interest to people. And as far as game theory goes for this kind of thing, I want to make sure you knew this in particular, Neil, because you'll be able to work this into your plans with the Briberry exchange. Or the Briberry bribe service, you can accept a bribe in different tokens. People can put up a bribe. For example, the bribe to vote for the index pool could be paid in the Solid X token, the Nope token, the Fire token, the Access token, or in Pulse, or in some other accepted token. We'll have a list of things that are okay. Can't be a weird scam token, but in this case, it could be any of these tokens that could be put up as the bribe. So if you have a strategy where you're trying to optimize profit in one of these tokens or all of these tokens, to have a bribe you can accept that gives you more of the token that you wanted anyway, and the one that you're voting for with the bribe, that's something that I think will really attract people's attention. Not that people don't want Pulse or USDC, but if I was like a Solid X Maxi or a Nope Maxi, and I knew I could go and take this bribe and receive Nope token as my bribe, right? That would be something that, I think it would carry on the airways more. Like on Twitter, people would be like, oh, you can do this. You get more Nope here. It layers and it layers, right? So in this case, I'm going to put Nope beside Briberry here. And I'm going to say that like maybe somebody who's interested in Nope and interested in this pool might put up Nope token as the bribe to vote for the solid X index on the Fux exchange via 2Fux. So, and with that in mind, and this is not confirmed, but it's definitely something that we're looking at, that we've talked about. It's possible, and we have to get everything out with this first. We're focusing on 2Fux, but it's possible with Briberry, we'll be able to interact with existing Fux votes because they won't be worthless, right? Like very quickly, the 2Fux votes per vote will be worth more than a Fux vote just because it'll control more of the ecosystem. But people are locked in the Fux exchange, a lot of them for a year or and that's just how it is, right? You're doing the responsible thing, especially if you're a founder and you got to vote for a pool, you lock your tokens. So you'll be able to potentially sell those for a bribe as well, right? Via the Fux exchange, just with their VE contract. I think that's possible. And even possible potentially with 9inch, depending how they set up their voting system. And I've chatted with the 9inch guys about that. They seem interested. I've chatted with Hexy Bastard about it. So there might be a possibility if 9inch has a system in the future that it has a DAO type nature where you're voting for which pools get the most yield, or even which pools get accepted to get yield, that sort of thing, then the Briberry contract would be a perfect fit for that as well. And it's been done on Ethereum. I don't see why we can't make that connection. Maybe even with Pulse X in the future, if they end up doing what I kind of thought they were going to do when I sacrificed for it 2 years ago, but that remains to be seen. So there's definitely some utility with the bribes, right? I think, smart contract bribes, way of the future.
Beautiful. I love any kind of corruption.
Well, it's almost like you create these pools become basically almost single-sided staking pools through this medium of exchange. So if you like Nope and people willing to use Nope to pay for your bribes for your 2Fux tokens, well, there you go. So, or whatever the token may be, even BBC or whatever it may be, with people who want to interact. So, this makes the decision tree a little more dynamic. I would think is if I was to come up with a strategy to really maximize, compounding. Not only you're compounding your yield in money, but you're compounding yield in APR. So, you could be able to potentially boost all of it. So the question is for you, Fast, is if let's say the index is the number one already, and they stand at number one, say by 20%, or what I'm just using as an example.
Yep.
Why would I? So would it behoove the index to constantly buy more votes to always stay on top, or is that 20% lead only give them the max, not that much more on a numeric basis?
I'll want to get Yellow Cake in to answer some of the technicals about the maximum possible. I think around that 20% of total votes is the sort of maximum benefit that you can get. That being said, 20% is super huge, and it would be worth millions of dollars, in my personal opinion, not financial advice. So I think if you could maintain 20% of the total votes on the Fux exchange in perpetuity, that would be very interesting. I'd be interested in being part of anything that could say that. So that's a good goal. I don't think on day one of 2Fux being launched that it will be able to wrangle that many votes. That'll be a 3 to 6 months down the road thing. Mm-hmm. If we look at what we're forking directly, which is called Aura Finance, which is kind of a fork of Convex. Convex works with Curve, Aura Finance works with Balancer, and now we're forking Aura Finance to work with Fux. And Aura Finance now has about 65% of the total Balancer votes in less than 3 years. Right? So it's super interesting. Like, I'm obviously very invested on the Pulse, on the Pulse chain, but I'm really tempted to participate more with Aura Finance because they're controlling this huge quantity of votes. It's like millions of dollars, right? Like in yield on Balancer token, right? It's a pretty big deal. So we're starting earlier than them. We're starting faster than them. And I think we'll be able to catch up to those kind of numbers really, really quickly. And that'll be a big deal. People will want to participate when 2Fux controls 65% of the Fux votes. And those bribes I talked about, they will remain attached to the holders of the 2FUX tokens. So on day one, okay, let's say, I'm throwing out random numbers, but like, let's say on day one of the protocol launching, let's say it controls 500,000 in prime FUX that's locked in the protocol. Okay, that's fine. Then if you own 10% of the 2FUX tokens, you're controlling $50,000 worth of votes, right? Now multiply that by 10, right? Like 2 years later, it has $5 million worth of prime FUX. If you still own 10% of the 2FUX tokens, you now control $500,000 worth of votes, right? Like you own $500,000 of prime FUX, right? So, and take that to whatever multiples you want, right? So, it's something that's going to scale up very quickly, and people will be very interested. And when we get, we've seen it with BBC. I think FUX it could maybe use some love, and that's something that 2FUX is going to help provide for that ecosystem. Some more focus on what it can do. But I think FUX is going to be a very strong token on the Pulse chain period, right? Like this is our fork of Balancer, and people may not value it enough now, but like 2 years from now they will. It'll be a big deal. And the way it works, like the emissions slow down over time, so they by default become more valuable. So like right now it seems like, oh, maybe I should sell my FUX tokens and do something else, but some people are going to be sorry about that 2 years from now, because it's like, Urgh.
I just keep buying. Keep buying it. It's one of my favorites. That I was buying BBC when it was a penny, and I'm buying FUX. It's just bleeding out.
Yeah, no, it's a huge opportunity right now, which actually I'm quite, like I don't like that token's lower than it should be, but it's kind of perfect for our timing of our launch of 2FUX, because it gives people a chance to participate and get in and help us boost the ecosystem for a pretty low price, disproportionately low in my opinion, and it won't always be that way. So that's a thing. One thing that I think people don't understand is that FUX is the second largest DEX on the Pulse chain by total value locked, like definitively, like hands down. If you took, and I'm not like, there's other good 9-inch and 9mm and SparkSwap, etc. Those guys are doing a great job, but you could take all their volume, add it together, not volume, their value locked, and it would still be less than is locked in FUX. Now I need to revisit that number, because there's been a lot of action with the solid index tokens lately that may have changed that number slightly. But I think once the solid index moves to the FUX exchange, that will be rebalanced. And the reason that there's so much value locked in FUX is because it's the best place logically to put stable coins. So you'll end up with these huge stable pools. And when we move into the bear market, those pools will get bigger, other pools will get smaller, and you'll end up with these huge $50 million stable pools, right? Lots of stuff going on there. So I think that's a consideration that people need to look at. And the other thing that's hurting it right now that won't be forever and could be a very quick change once it happens is the FUX pools don't show up on Dex Screener, which is super annoying. And I know the FUX guys, the PH ecosystem guys are on that. They're talking to the Dex Screener guys, but they're dragging their feet. You can see them on Gecko Terminal. They are there. They are huge pools, but you don't see them on Dex Screener, so it's kind of annoying that way. But once those pop up on Dex Screener, bang, like it's gonna fill the screen, right? So I think things like that is where people are missing the opportunity, and we're gonna get a boost for that. And I'm gonna do my best, and Yellow Cake as well, to get the word out about what the opportunity is, so people can get in. This is one of the last ones that's gonna be a blue chip that is not crazily priced. So hey,
yeah. No, I agree. Hey, Neil, let's give you a little shout out here. Anything you want to just go over for any new kids at home? Kind of just, what is Tetra for somebody tuning in from outside the ecosystem?
Sure, yeah. So Tetra is a software as a service, which will enable users to use automation tools to drag and drop and create strategies which allow you to automate blockchain smart contracts to your liking with simple, intuitive connections without any coding experience needed. And we will offer services like currently you can use the Tetra's Omnis tool, which is our DEX aggregator / swap tool, to do 5v1 swaps, meaning you can take 5 tokens and swap from one, which saves gas. You can use it. We have limit orders live on Pulse Chain in both the PulseX and FUX DEXs, and soon to be very, very shortly, all the DEXs. They're about to be integrated imminently, it's about to happen. And then you can also use the and which is about to come out is compound limit orders, which is basically it's an automated swing trade where you can buy one token, sell it when it drops, and then pick up another token or the same token when the price rebounds. So, or reverse that, however you want to use it. So that's about to come out, and that's been in testing for months now. We've all been using it. It works great. We've made a lot of good trades, and we're really happy with it. And so all these things are about to come to play, and then we'll also have liquidity management through Omnis's front end as well. So you can manage your liquidity positions on all the DEXs, push and pull liquidity, move it over from one to another, and stuff like that. And which would be a really big important tool for like what we're discussing with all the DEXs and the index and how you move your tokens around, because your APR may change depending on your token count and which tokens you own. So I think there's going to be some interesting plays and a lot of automation when automation services are turned on the blockchain. And so we'll have these strategies be made for public consumption probably very shortly. And then once that's done, then we'll turn the automation services to the public. They can make their own strategies.
Yeah. Paul's asking about will compound help close arbitrage opportunities?
No, because arbitrage is always going to exist as long as there's people trading. So you may tighten up. But what the compound limit orders will do, allow the average person to compete with the bots. That's what it will do. So you as an average person can set a compound limit order up, and then when the token's in the range, it will deploy. But there's something to consider, though, because unlike a normal limit order, like on 1 inch, 1 inch and stuff out there on Ethereum, most of those have order books. We don't have an order book on Pulse Chain because that's centralized. This is all decentralized. So therefore, the concept of slippage is really, really important. And I have a whole video just explaining it. It's not intuitive. You got to think about it because we are doing this in a dynamic way, which has never been done before. We get all our prices directly from the DEXs. Exactly. So every block, it's faster than every block updates. So it's our speed time is like 0.7 milliseconds getting the data back, and then it goes to the display from the UI. So that we get really, really fast price feeds directly from the DEXs. We don't have any centralized services. So what this makes us unique, that everything you interact with through Tetra's tools like Omnis and stuff, you're getting the best accurate price it could possibly be. So your limit orders have a chance, but you can set your slippage accordingly, because it all depends on how volatile the asset is, and then how much liquidity is in the pair, and the time, in the market at the moment, right? So what's going on? So there's a lot of numbers you have to think about. So if it's high volatility and low volume means high slippage, then you got to set your slippage accordingly. Which you have a lot of volume and say low volatility, you can have slow slippage. And in between there is you have to kind of figure out that yourself, because there's no magic formula to tell you exactly. Because any given time, like for instance, when Liquid Loans launched, you had USDL and Pulse pair, and you had the major swings. We were using compound limit orders in the test environment, trying it out. And we learned some stuff really quick what to do, because when a big wick happens in a block, if your slippage is not high enough, people who have higher slippage and pay higher gas will get ahead of you. Sometimes you'll miss it. That's just the way it is. Just like you miss any other, market buy or market sell. So it's just one of those things. People educate themselves. You come to Tetra, go tetra.me/go Tetra for our Tetra group, and we have videos posted there. You can ask questions. I have videos on my YouTube channel explain this in more technical detail.
Right on. Beautiful. So I see you guys have a white paper. What about 2 fucks? I didn't see one on your website for a white paper or anything.
Oh yeah, we do. It's just down at the bottom under documents. We have substantial documents. So they're not meant for everybody to read, but they're all there.
Yeah. Right on. Yeah.
I think you might be the 6th person to read it. Please go ahead.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is. One of those questions, right?
The nice thing about these forks is that all this stuff is, you can dig as deep as you want, because like with both fucks and 2 fucks, we're basically 1-to-1 forks from Ethereum, right? So you can look at Aura Finance and you could go through hundreds of documents and many audits and details like that. And the same thing with Fux. You want to read about Balancer, you can dive deep as you want, right? So it's all there.
Yep. So, and then Randy, let's just circle back on good old 9-inch here. So they had launched some new stuff today as well, right?
Yes, sir.
So we see what we got there existing.
The Note farms have been there for months. That was one of the first farms to launch. Last week we launched BBC Solid X and 9-inch Solid X. Axis just launched a couple days ago. PLS Axis and I think 9-inch Axis, BBC Axis, and now we have PLS Fire and PLS 9-inch Fire as well. So there you go. Those are new today.
Yeah, new. Yeah, as of today,
You can see they're new because the APY is still really high, about 154%.
Right. Oh, well, not for long now that you just put it on stream. Oh, man. Best kept secrets out now. Shit. So Brian Magruder was asking about a rough, I was joking 2 weeks, but do you have any rough time frame for a launch date guesstimate for 2 Fucks?
I think if you ask me again in a week, I might tell you a week.
Right on. It is what it is.
It's going to be pretty fast.
Yeah. All right. It's coming with the vengeance.
Yep.
All right. So have you guys seen the let's see, the dollar cost tool?
The DCA thing, that's cool. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think you can DCA in as well as DCA out, right? Yep. Which is very useful.
That's some slick stuff. Yeah, because somebody, that's what it was. Because a lot of people were utilizing it, right? And they did pretty well with the Solid X and stuff. But it was obviously the aggregate, right? It was the address of this tool using everything that gave the big numbers. Came out to be on that. So yeah, real good tool. Like you said, you can use it for to get in and to get out, right? So
it did big volume too, right?
Go ahead.
It did big volume, that DCA tool. I remember somebody was looking at it online, and it was some streamer or other, and they were like, "This is a bot. Why is a bot doing this?" But it's it's a bot controlled by 1,000 different people for their own needs, which is totally okay.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Any we can wrap this up here. It's been a great conversation and great education to all the people out there. It's worthy. It's definitely worthy a replay or two. Just checking out those strategies. Do a screenshot, save it. We're just really looking forward to it. You get all excited and just don't want to be disappointed. So you know what? Take your time. Take your time. It's okay. Dude, I bet you Neil's about tired. I can only imagine in your freaking Telegram group, win this, win that.
Oh, it's not just that. See, we're not just Tetra. We're also Tetra Labs. So this is a new division we just opened up because there was a need for development services, not just front end. We're talking about we can do front ends, we can do APIs, we can do full stack development. We can do customized stuff. We can get strategy stuff lined up. I mean, whatever you need to build a project, we can offer. We have enough development services and resources to do so. And so I'm kind of heading that up for Stu, acting as the manager there and trying to put together things. And we have people coming to us wanting us to build stuff for them, and Nakabobi being one of them. And so that's what we're doing as well. So on top of what Stu's building with the tools, I'm building the business side, being customers and trying to give them something that we can help them, flesh out ideas. If you just have an idea with no money, we can help you out. We'll come up with solutions. So, you can contact me, Tetra Labs. I'm at Work for Crypto on Telegram. Just let me know, and I'll do what I can to facilitate your needs.
Yeah, I mean, man, like, Tetra Labs is very important because, I mean, cross-chain interoperability. I mean, you might have, a lot of people coming to you wanting to integrate and utilize this groundbreaking, innovative coding and technology, and it's something for sure to behold.
And I have to attest, they've done a great job with Nagabo. So
yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure working with the team over there so far, Randy.
Absolutely, love doing our calls and discussing how things are going to work. So I appreciate it.
Beautiful. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have Pulse Mafia on the good old X side of the house. And then we have good old Fast Abdul on there. Good old Neil for crypto as well. So everyone pretty much knows all you guys. But any other places people can find you, or you prefer, drop it in the chat, what have you, if you like. And we can circle out of here. But thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Cheers, everybody.
Thank
Honor
you.
and a privilege. And we will catch you next time. So, but hey, announcement. Fast Abdul. What do we got? I think we're going to do something Thursday.
Yeah, I think Yellow Cake has the demo and he's ready to show everybody, right? So he can show you the ins and outs of how to operate 2FUX. He can show you how fast it is, how the APRs look. This is all pre-launch, right? But it's actually running live on the Pulse chain. So he'll have it all queued up, and you guys can go through it, and he can talk to you about his interesting past, and you can get her done. That'd be cool. And one more thing I should mention is that strategy that the four of us worked on, I'm going to drop that in the 2FUX Telegram room, in the Tetra strategy room. I got a tab there, and in the no permissions private room as well. So everybody can take a look. Feel free to comment if you have a suggestion for a strategy involving any of these tokens. Myself or Neil can talk to you about that. There's going to be so many interesting things we can do together with stuff like this. Thanks for having me, VETS.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you, gentlemen. Follow all these people, like and subscribe to their individual channels. You can look them up, search them up in the YouTube search box there. And everybody have a great day.
There's so many scams. I have to change my username. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere. Richard Hart, bracket. Don't ever send me money. Imposters everywhere, bracket. That's fucked up, right? Like, I'm out there actually making an effort trying to stop the fucking scams. And everyone else is like, oh, fucking that Richard, yeah, he's a scammer.
Call it a scam, nobody really cares. We can tell you the only one that ain't prepared. Oh yes, I'ma be a millionaire. 5, a couple trillion shares. Oh no, I ain't getting wrecked again. Richard Hart, he got us set to win. We're a family, we all the best of friends. We ain't a cult, man, just call them Mexicans. ICOs, pump and dumps, they always try to take you. Buy low, sell high, I'm tired of your fake news. You need